So here we are for the town hall. We'll give folks a chance to jump on and then we will get started. Raise it a little bit. You guys can see a little bit more of the city. Aha, boom. A little headroom never hurt anybody, right? All right, so it is 8:02 p.m. Eastern Time. I am in New York, in need of a haircut, but it's not too bad, right? It's amazing what a little shower can do to put the hair in its place. We are going to start tonight and do things a little different. We are going to bring in a few guests, and then we'll have time on the back end for a couple of surprises. So the first thing I'd like to do is start with someone who lives in Puerto Rico who posted earlier tonight that she really wanted to go outside and get some air, given the governor's executive order. And she was pretty amped up about it. So I said, well, come on, let's talk about it. So everybody, this is Erin Pelton. Erin used to work in the federal government. Her husband is Puerto Rican. Full disclosure here, I participated in one of Erin's events. She runs something called PR Live. And so she and her husband, who is from there, went back to the island. They are raising their kids, and she's living through what I call, and this is not a criticism of the government, but the Puerto Rican quarantine is the strictest quarantine of any U.S. territory or even state. So, Erin, you said earlier today, I sure wish we could go out and just get some air. And it was interesting because some people snapped back and were like, hey, stay inside. I don't think, so were you, first of all, tell us how things are 5 weeks in, and then tell us your reaction to the folks who kind of snapped back and were like, no, stay inside.
Yeah. Hey, David. It's good to see you.
You too.
I actually think the governor here did a really good job at the outset. She really set the bar in the U.S. for how to respond to a crisis like this, one that we haven't seen in many decades. I think the challenge is in the follow-up. The reason that you force everyone to stay home for weeks and weeks on end is so that you can put a plan in place to test people and to contact trace, and at some point to begin to slowly reopen. I think the follow-up has been challenging, and I don't think I'm saying anything that most Puerto Ricans wouldn't agree with. And I think in light of the challenges that the government is having, there needs to be some thought given to how do we make this manageable, because this is going to go on, I think, for probably a very long time. And we need to make sure that people, I have kids, so like for them, they need to be able to burn some of that energy off. I live in an apartment. And we're 6 weeks in today. We pulled our kids out of school 6 weeks ago, a few days before the government shut everything down. And it's challenging. And you can see they're a little bit like depressed, and they need some fresh air. That's it. I'm not suggesting we should reopen everything. I'm not suggesting that we should do anything that irresponsible. It's more just I think people at this point have gotten the point about we need to social distance, and I think they can be trusted to do the right thing.
So, the governor has said she believes that there is enough evidence, though I'm not sure what she means by evidence, because they've done so little testing. They are last, where they are first in terms of having the strictest curfew. They are last in terms of testing, but that's a separate issue. The governor has said she's starting to see evidence that things can start to reopen businesses, but she's not talking about people getting out and exercising and that kind of stuff, at least not yet. You have two kids who are under the age of 10. I think your daughter is 6, right?
Yeah, they're 4 and 6.
Okay, 4 and 6. So at some point, what have you done to get creative? I mean, you're not in a big palatial palace. And I realize a lot of people have these stories, but what are you doing after 4 hours of playing and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and the kids are driving you and each other crazy?
Well, we're all juggling a lot, right? Trying to homeschool, work, keeping the kids, going, and, not just parking them in front of the TV all day. We go to the parking lot I know a lot of families do that. It's a little depressing when your kids ask you, "Can we go to the parking lot, Mom?" I mean, they used to obviously ask to go to the park. And, you know, we've understood that and respected that and have been very disciplined about keeping them at home. But so we go to the parking lot, we do videos like every other parent does, you know, go noodle, little active videos online, you know, stuff like that. You know, you just make it work, right? You let
You do
them run.
what you
You let
do.
them run in the house.
Erin is one of those people who lives in Puerto Rico because she loves it. And I think the story you told me was that you wanted to go back to Puerto Rico even more than or as much as your husband. Is that correct?
I basically strong-armed him into coming back to his island. Yes,
Right.
that's true.
So we talk about a lot of things that need to be fixed in Puerto Rico, but I want you to talk about the things that are great, that you love, that you've experienced as an outsider, because you will always be an outsider. Sure, you live there, you've made it your home, but you'll always be an outsider like I am. Tell us about, for people who are not Puerto Rican who are watching this, what you love about the island.
Well, I think it's a lot of the same things that you love about the island, David. I mean, first of all, it's the people. The people here are the most kind, good-natured, patient, as a word I've heard you use to describe Puerto Ricans. Loving people. They're so giving. I mean, my husband and I talk about a lot how when sort of there's a crisis, there's no place we'd rather be than here, because people take care of each other. They look out for each other. They're good to each other. And those are all things that I really love about this place and why I wanted to come here and raise my kids.
Yeah. No, listen, and I'll add another word to that: resilient. Among
Absolutely.
just the most resilient people I know. Okay, so 6 weeks in, your hair has not been pulled out completely.
Yes, there's a
and
lot
you,
though.
and you're doing what you can.
Yes, absolutely. Like we all are. I mean, look, I'm grateful that we're healthy and safe, and there's nothing to complain about really. It's just a question of like, if we're going to be smart about how do we live through this, and this could go on for a long time, like how do we do it? That's all.
Well, and by the way, when you said that today, I didn't react strongly to it because I enjoy the luxury and the privilege of going out and exercising every day. I do it every day. So for me, I'm not cooped up, but the folks in Puerto Rico, and listen, again, like I always give them credit. Some people are staying inside and have stayed inside for 6 weeks and are ready to stay inside another 16 weeks if that's what needs, but I wanted to give people a chance on the platform who are feeling a little cabin fever. And there's nothing wrong with starting to push back and ask your government what can be done. I mean, as long we all know the experts say, if we can socially distance, you can have people outside. So just like the governor at some point said, you can put cars on the road matching, different days depending on the license plate. Is there a world in which you can say that certain folks can go out on certain days at certain times? I don't know. Yeah. But it's a relevant question to ask.
Sure.
So
reasonable people can disagree about the answer, but I think we'd all agree, like we're gonna have to do something at some point. Like just locking everybody up isn't gonna be the answer. Absent testing, contact tracing, all that stuff.
Erin, so good to see you.
You too. Take care.
Thank you, love. Bye-bye. Erin Pelton to get us started tonight. Okay, so the next person I wanted to bring in, is she ready? Ashley, are you on here? If you are, type in the comment section below. She may be. I found out about a story today. I'm going to text her. Are you ready? She might already be on here. There's a story that you guys, oh, there she is. There was a story, I think a few weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, that I told about a CVS in Ponce, Puerto Rico, southern part of the island, where they needed masks. Hi there, Ashley.
Hi, David.
So I was just giving everybody the setup. So the CVS in Ponce, Puerto Rico needed masks. If I remember correctly, they were hanging them up on like this line in their break room. And so it occurred to me, those are definitely some frontline people, because whoever's coming to the pharmacy is sick. And if you're sick with one thing, how do you know if you have COVID, if you haven't been tested, that kind of thing. So I put it out. And usually the way this works is I never kind of know where it's going to go, but the goodness of humanity always picks it up and does something. So Miss Ashley unbeknownst to me, tell everybody what you did.
Well, I mean, I was appalled by what was going on, especially like you said, they work with giving out medicine. So I thought it was ridiculous that they were using these masks and reusing them every day. So first I started sewing them, but my machine was so little that it was jamming every 5 minutes. So I hit up my girl, and she actually made about 20 masks, and also she 3D printed the ear savers for them. And after all the challenges, we just sent the masks to them, and finally they have them today.
Okay, but you're in California.
I'm all the way in California. I feel like I'm not doing anything from over here.
Right. So wait. Ashley is simplifying the story too much.
Sorry.
Ashley is from Rincon, loves her island, moved to California for school. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm studying accounting over here.
Say that again.
I'm studying accounting, California State University.
All right. So Ashley says to me today, she goes, I went to send them to the pharmacy, but then what happened when you looked up the address?
Well, I looked up the address and I confirmed it, and the package wouldn't send, so the post office was just bouncing it back. So I had to reach out to literally one of the employees and, tell her, can I have your personal address, if it's okay with you, and finally send it to her. But it's crazy to me that, and I've tried this too with other addresses to my family, that the system is not the same with the post offices. So the addresses might not add up. I have that issue all the time. So that took me about 2 weeks to figure out.
So here is the photo that Ashley sent to me. That is the group wearing the masks that she and her friend fashioned up for them. I didn't know about the 3D printer for the ear part. That's great.
Yeah, that's something that she does she sent it out of her heart too. She didn't charge $1. She has her Etsy account and she sells masks and the ear savers, but this is something that she did out of her heart.
Well, listen, the random kindness of strangers is what I am I'll be honest with you. What gives me fuel to keep doing this is people like you. Because when I posted that, I always say, I'm not just trying to embarrass or shame or just tell people about bad news. My hope is that someone will step up and say, there's something I can do. And I didn't know you. I didn't know what you were doing until you told me about it today. So thank you for that.
I wanted to let people know, like, if you do need supplies, reach out to David. David already knows that if he posts it, I will be watching. And I have friends, for example, that have frontline donations here in California. They supply PPE products, is what they're called, right? If I'm not wrong, to medical workers or anybody in the healthcare industry. And they do it nationwide. So if anybody from Puerto Rico needs help, they can reach out. If people want to donate so they feel like they're helping, they can reach out as well. I'll be posting information down here. That's so funny. Somebody says I look like my mom, Martha. How do you know?
I saw that.
She is my mom. But yeah, and then if you want the information for the girl who made the mask for the CVS workers, I have that as well. You just reach out. There's people like me that I can't do much from where I am, but the little that I can do, I could definitely move around and do it.
You've done a lot, my friend. You've done a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
You too. Take care, David.
Good night. I love that. Hey, listen, just so you know, because a lot of people ask, what are you drinking? Tonight I'm sipping my dinner. So this is spinach, blueberries, strawberries, squeezed lemon, ice, and water. That's it. So I'm getting tired of takeout and I don't cook. But the problem is Jeremy, he's getting really good at cooking. And so he called me tonight and he goes, babe, I made the best bolognese. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. But I'm thinking in the back of my head, why the hell are you calling me to tell me about it? Because I really want some. Yes, Paddington is whining, but he got a bath today. Let me show you this boy. Yeah, what are you doing over there making people feel sorry for you? Look at this little nugget. He got a bath today. He got a brush in. Look how stinking cute he is, right? He's so handsome. So yes, he's in his little pen. Remember, I'm telling you, every time I do one of these, he starts whining or barking. He doesn't like daddy distracted by other people. So our next guest I would like to bring in is Pedro Julio Serrano. He is an activist on the island of Puerto Rico, very involved in the LGBTQ community. I found out today from Pedro that there were two transgender women on the island of Puerto Rico who were murdered. And you've heard me say often that Puerto Rico doesn't get the coverage that it deserves. And that's for all the stuff that you know about already. They don't get enough coverage. But issues affecting transgender people get even less coverage. So I've asked Pedro to join us tonight to tell us about what he knows. Pedro, good
Hi,
evening.
David. Good evening. How are you, David?
I'm well. Thank you for joining us. So tell us what you know.
Well, last night we heard that two trans women were brutally murdered in a vicious and atrocious crime. At this moment, we don't know if they were murdered before they were burned or if they were burned alive inside of a vehicle that was found in Humacao, which is on the eastern part of the island. Right now, this is the fourth hate crime against trans people in 2 months. Tomorrow, it will be the second month of Alexa's murder that we were very fortunate to have you in Puerto Rico to cover that story and bring attention worldwide to what was going on. And it's very troubling because we haven't seen this amount of anti-LGBTQ violence in Puerto Rico in a long, long time. And it doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens because there are political and religious leaders who are inciting violence against us with hateful rhetoric and with actions that want to roll back rights for LGBTQ people. And that gives permission to people who hate us and to people that discriminate us to act violently against us. So there are no words to describe the feeling that trans people have been conveying to me and to other activists of how they're feeling. They are fearful and they don't know how to stop this. We don't know how to stop this. We know with education and with love and acceptance, but we don't know how the government can help us stop this.
Alexa, that Pedro mentions, is a transgender woman who was hunted, taunted, and murdered on the island of Puerto Rico. If you have not seen the story that we do, you can Google Alexa transgender killing Puerto Rico in CBS News, and the story will come up. Tomorrow marks the anniversary of the killing. How many months has it been, Pedro?
2 months. It will be tomorrow.
It has been 2 months. So what's important, number one, is that people know about this, because what I'm seeing in the comments below and what is clear to me is that there are a lot of people who don't even know that this happened. Now, I do have to say, my experience in covering, and the murder of Alexa was I believe the first transgender crime that I covered. And it was pretty widely covered on the island. And I appreciate that. And the work that we did at CBS News caught the attention of the Human Rights Coalition campaign, which documented it and added the really unfortunate statistic to their ongoing statistic tally of transgender people who are murdered in the United States and in Puerto Rico. So what is the status right now of life for trans people on the island?
Well, right now it's very troubling because we are seeing an increase in anti-trans murders, and we haven't seen this in probably more than 20 years that I have been an activist. We haven't seen this type of violence against trans people in Puerto Rico. There's homelessness, because we saw that with Alexa. She was a homeless trans woman who was criminalized just because of going to a bathroom, and that was what triggered the hunting that led to her killing. We see that there are lack of opportunities in employment because people still discriminate, even though we have a law that prohibits discrimination in employment based on gender identity and sexual orientation. But it's very pervasive, the discrimination in employment. There's housing problems that we have, and so they are new organizations and clinics that are doing the work to visibilize the trans community and to give services to the trans community, but it's still very scarce, and especially the government is not doing its part yet. The local government, the municipal government in San Juan, they have a trans clinic, which was the first one that was opened, and there are opportunities for work and study and housing in San Juan, but there are other places that they don't have that resources. So people who are trans that live in other parts of the island, it's more critical, and they don't have support services to help them. So it's very troubling. And with this, we saw that with Alexa, they started an investigation, and because of negligence behind the police, or even transphobia, that investigation was thrown away because they committed several errors and not following the protocol that is established by the police. And now the suspects are free, and it's not going anywhere. And we are afraid that now this might happen with the murder of Serena and Layla, who were murdered in Humacao yesterday. So it's a critical juncture that trans people are experiencing in Puerto Rico.
So, and I must say, with all due respect, because you said the police mishandled or something, I have no evidence or proof to report that out. I respect and give you the right to say it. I have nothing to provide evidence to back that up. I will say, and I would like to end on this, it's not all negative. Puerto Rico has some transgender trailblazers, which I had a chance to meet when I was on the island, including a woman, Miss Santiago, Oraya, is that her name? Oraya Santiago? Soraya Santiago, who underwent a sex change operation in the mid-70s. The mid-70s. Now, if you think some folks may be behind on the times in terms of embracing and understanding transgender people, human beings, imagine what life was like in the 70s, right? And Miss Santiago blazed that trail. She is alive. She is living on the island of Puerto Rico. And it was really an honor to meet her and hear some of her story. And there are resources for transgender people. They're not everywhere on the island, but there are on the island. And I was very impressed to hear about resources that have been established with the help of people like Pedro and other government officials who have made it possible for these to exist in their municipality. Pedro, the final word is yours.
Well, we just want justice for Layla. We want justice for Alexa. We want justice for Serena. We want justice for Jampi. We want justice for LGBTQ people, especially the trans people in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a welcoming, loving place. We have made great strides in terms of the human rights for the LGBTQ people. Puerto Rico is at the forefront of the states and territories, or even countries in the world, in terms of rights for trans people and for LGBTQ people. And the environment of acceptance and respect and love that our families and our neighbors and our co-workers and our friends give us is amazing. But there's still a long way to go for us to live the full life that we deserve, with full equality, with full dignity, with full respect. And we will not stop until Puerto Rico becomes a place for everyone, and that everyone is treated with respect and dignity, and that these crimes do not ever happen again.
You said something about love, and it triggered something in my mind from earlier today. I know you guys can't see this perfectly, but Pedro, before I let you go, I want to read this because I know you'll appreciate it too. My partner sent me this quote earlier today, and it is a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, and I was so moved by it that I shared it. And the quote is the following: Power without love is reckless and abusive, and love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. I had never heard that quote. I get the chills just listening to it now. And if you want to be even more moved, I did an okay job reading it. You should go hear Dr. King say it. I posted it on my Instagram and Twitter and Facebook accounts. It's quite a moving quote. So listen, Pedro, thank you for saying their names. It's one thing to say the story, but we need to know their names too. So I thank you for that. And I know that you will stay on it. I will monitor what's happening. And thank you for coming on.
Thank you. And I know that love will always, always win. Love will conquer hate anytime.
Every time. Every time. Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, so let us begin the journey down the random road. Let's see.
Hey, David.
Hello there. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm well. Your name is Carlos, it says.
Yeah, it's the one. It's the one.
What did you want us to know? Do you have a new normal or do you have something else?
No, I'm still the same. It's just that I was kind of wondering, David. I know you had interviewed these people from the government, Department of Health, and all this. No, David, these people, they keep lying to us, man. You know? They keep lying to the island. They keep lying to y'all people, the reporters. You know, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something that y'all could say that might break them. And decide.
So I don't know if you saw the interview that I did with the Secretary of Health. It's posted on my social media accounts. But at one point, I asked him, where are the tests? And I said, sir, I don't mean to be a joke, but where in the hell are they? And that was a moment where I didn't intend to ask the question like that. But there's a bit of frustration because after 4 weeks of asking him where the tests are, I'm tired. It is insufficient and it is inadequate to not have an answer. And so what he said to me, and I encourage you to go and watch the clip and listen, I want it to be known. I believe that the Secretary of Health is a man who wants the best. He's a pretty straightforward guy, and he admits they have screwed up at every turn. I mean, listen, the guy spends half the interview admitting things they've screwed up, and the other half of the interview saying what he wants to do. So I also, you know, the person who just wrote in that comment, that's a good point. It's not just politicians who lie all the time. I don't need to remind you who in the States are people that lie all the time as well, right? So it's not just exclusive to Puerto Rico. Having said that, Carlos, here's what you got to do. I'm not an opinion type of media person. I'm a journalist. We don't give our opinion. So what we do, but here's what we do. You can hold those people's feet to the fire. If the governor said yes, I would interview her every day. The reason I don't interview her regularly is because they don't make her available. Okay? Now, I got her cell phone number today. I plan on texting her to ask her if she will do an interview, because the last time I interviewed her, she said to me, please, if you need something, call me. So I'm going to text her and I'm going to ask her. But I believe, Carlos, the way to get the truth is to do it with respect. Even though I am upset, and I hear in your voice, and sometimes I want to just grab folks by the shoulders and be like, what the hell are you doing? Or what are you not doing? But at the end of the day, there's a way to be piercing with your questions, to the point, and pithy without being rude. And that's what I try and be. You know what I mean? That's what I
Yeah.
try and be. You can call bullshit without being a you know what. And that's
Yeah.
what I try and do, because I think that is the most effective way to get the information. Listen, I'm not an actor. I'm not trying to stand out. I'm just trying to get the freaking information. Like,
I know.
where are the tests? Where are the tests?
Yeah.
It's been, and that's why I said to the secretary, Mr. Secretary, it's been 4 weeks. Where are the tests? Well, no, 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 no. Where are the
Exactly.
tests? And he said to
Yep.
me, well, FEMA, we made the request through FEMA, and I had the paperwork. I said, good, I'd like to see it. Okay, well, I'm going to get you the paperwork. I talked to his assistant 2 hours ago, and I'm still waiting on the paperwork. Now, in all fairness, she didn't know about it. I only notified her 2 hours ago that he said he would give it to me. I think I'm going to get it. Because what I said to him was, listen, Mr. Secretary, if you went to FEMA because the small island of Puerto Rico is competing against the big boy states, and the big boy states are getting more than Puerto Rico. If you went to FEMA and FEMA is not giving you what you need, then you need to tell me so I can go to FEMA and ask FEMA why not.
There you go.
So don't just say, well, like that does enough. I was talking to a scientist tonight, and I'm sorry I'm getting on my soapbox here. I was talking to a scientist tonight, and the scientific community, I would encourage you to watch this, will be making an announcement tomorrow. They are trying to team up with the Department of Health to get more done. And I said, and I cannot divulge too much because it was told to me, there's an embargo, so I can't release the material until tomorrow. But suffice to say this, there's something that occurred recently which people have just beat around the bush about. And I said to this one person tonight, you guys have to stop beating around the bush. We need to pick up the phone and we need to say to so-and-so, why haven't you done this? And so-and-so is going to say, I didn't know, or I meant to, or I forgot, whatever. And so, Carlos, sometimes you got to publicly shame people in order to get them off their you know what to do something.
Yeah, totally agree.
So I'm giving you a really long-winded answer to say, I know it is frustrating. I know every time a politician opens their mouth, people just want to roll their eyes. But at the end of the day, I will continue to be relentless. I think the majority of reporters in Puerto Rico are trying to do the best that they can, but they get run all over by their politicians. The politicians try to take advantage of people in return. It's a little easier for me because I'm more removed. They see me as an outsider. So
there you go.
You know, whatever. They can treat me however they want. At the end of the day, I just want information. I just want the information. So hang in there. Hang in there.
Like I said, listen, I didn't thank you before that first interview we had. But I really appreciate all you have done for the people of Puerto Rico, you know, like talking for us out there.
Hey,
you know,
you're breaking up really bad. We can't hear you, brother. So, Carlos, if you can hear me, you're breaking up really bad. I'm sorry. It cut. So we hear you loud and clear. I think you hear me, and we will press on. We will press on. Okay, so somebody named Tanny, T-A-I-N-I, wants to come in. You cannot come in because it says unable to join. Your account may be private. You may, it says the next person is unable to join too. How many of you guys are operating with private accounts here? Let's see.
What's up, David?
Hello there. What's your name?
Hello, Salvador from Puerto Rico.
Okay, where are you on the island?
Mayagüez.
Oh, Mayagüez on the western side. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want us to know?
I was going to ask you the Instagram post or tweet that you posted about the CARES Act, and what do you know about the governor giving that money to the people?
The CARES Act is what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
So I know very little. I'm going to be honest with you. I have only been following what I've seen. I wanted to reach out to the Treasury Secretary today. I was unable to. There is that $1,200 check, which should be going to everyone. Puerto Ricans are included in that everyone that I'm talking about. My understanding today in speaking with government officials is that the government is not that they're unwilling or not wanting to distribute it, but the system that they have is just not prepared, which is not sufficient. They need to do better. But
Yeah,
at the end of the day,
things like
that's
that happen a lot in
correct.
this government.
It does. It does. You're right. So it's something I am going to make a call on tomorrow.
All right.
One thing that I'm pressing on, and I don't know if you saw this earlier today, I posted a document that shows the government of Puerto Rico has spent, and let me pull it up so I can get my figures correct. This was quite surprising to me. So the Oversight and Management Board in Puerto Rico approved $787 million to be used by the government for frontline workers like first responders, police officers, paramedics, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at my friends commenting.
Oh, your friends are. I thought, yeah. What?
Yeah, but thank you for the info, man.
People are putting bursts of fire. So I was like, what the hell is that? No. So here's what it is: $787 million that were allocated by the Financial Oversight and Management Board, and the government of Puerto Rico has only spent about 170. What is it here? 175 million. Yeah, 189 million. So that's a lot of money that can go to frontline workers that has not gone yet. And tomorrow I will interview the man who runs the agency that is in charge of dispersing that money. That money affects people like you because it goes to pay your police officers, your paramedics in the western side of the region. So working on getting some answers to that too.
Cool. Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to find out about the 1,200. All right.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you for everything you do with this island. I mean, you always try to get out the truth of the situation with the government for the people. And thank you for your job. Why do you cover so much of the theme of Puerto Rico? Like, are you Puerto Rican or not? No.
Because I covered the hurricane and because it was such an important story and not enough people were talking about it. And then I just got sucked into it and fell in love with the island. That's the best answer I got.
Okay, cool. That's a good answer. And what do you work in a TV station?
Yep. I work for CBS News, which is which is based in the US. Yep.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I remember like every time something big happens in the island, you're involved. Like every time since Maria. Like when the strike for the governor and every chaos, you're here helping us. And thank you.
You're very welcome. Nice to meet you.
You too, bro.
Have a good night.
You too.
I have to admit, it would be pretty funny if I was on here and my friends jumped on and started leaving crazy messages. I'd be laughing too. All right, let's see. So daily, whatever it is, it says that you are unable to join. Let's try Melissa. Nope, it says Melissa. It says most of you people are unable to join. That's weird. Okay, so maybe the button's not working. So in the comment section below, if you're trying to be brought in, let me know who you are and a little bit about what you want to talk about, and then I will bring you in. It's probably the damn button situation. Y'all know how that works. Okay, so I'm looking at some of the comments here. Let's see. Where's the love? We need to keep the faith. All right, that's good. Somebody says, been here since Maria, and this is the first time I'm worried about the government handling the situation. This is the first time you're worried about it? Okay. All right. Fair enough. I'm a little surprised to hear you say this is the first time, but I hear you. Let's see. I think this was the button. Yeah, so mom to mom, whatever. I tried to bring you in, but it says waiting and waiting. So let me see if this works. So I'm trying to bring you in, mom to my bully Bella, whatever, whatever that handle is. But it's not working. So either you're not answering or it's not working. Do do do. All right, let's try this. Dark Fairy.
Hi, David.
Well, hello. What's your name? Hello. Hello.
Hold on. Try to move to a lighter room.
Okay. What's your name?
Melissa.
Okay, Melissa. Where are you?
Bridgeport, Shelton, Connecticut.
Okay. What would you like us to know?
I followed you very much to know of everything with Puerto Rico, with Maria, I have family down there. My dad was down there. I have younger siblings. I lived there for 11 years. I followed you since the beginning. So it was wonderful to finally, I've been sending you a lot of requests, and it was great finally to get to meet you in person.
Well, I'm glad to meet you as well. What's your new normal?
Well, I had surgery right around when the pandemic started. I had neck surgery.
Oh.
I needed to do a C5, C6 disc replacement. So I've been home. So it kind of worked out in a way for me, because while I was recuperating, everybody was staying home for quarantine. So that's my new normal, being a mom and a teacher, a wife, a little bit of everything.
How's your neck?
It's doing good. It was easy surgery. It sounds very painful, but it's actually one of the most, how do we call it? It was outpatient. So I was going the same day.
Outpatient for a C5, C6
Disc replacement. How crazy is that?
That's some crazy talk. Wow. Holy moly.
Yeah,
well,
you can see that. You can see it's right here.
Yeah. Outpatient. Good Lord.
Yeah.
The things they do these days. That's amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing.
I go back next week and they might send me back to work, or I'm going to actually try to stay quarantined for a little bit longer. So
Wow. Amazing.
that's my new normal.
Well, I'm glad you could join in. You look good, and
Thank
the
you.
scar will continue to heal and everything, and it'll be put a little makeup on that, and nobody will see a thing.
I'll put some concealer on it.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Nice to meet you, love.
It was great to meet you. God bless you, and say hi to your loved ones and your puppy, and many blessings for you guys.
Thank you. My very best to you. Bye bye.
You too. Take care.
All right. Let's see. I'm looking at some more of these questions. Okay, one thing I wanted to share with you guys. I was so deeply moved by an email that my colleague sent out earlier tonight about a gentleman who died from the coronavirus, and his wife wrote this on Facebook, and it really struck me. So this was her post, and as I read it to you, I want to show you the picture of this gentleman. This is John, his wife, and his kids. His wife Katie wrote, "This morning, unexpectedly, Jonathan went into cardiac arrest and passed away. He had been doing significantly better the last few days, and we were given a very optimistic prognosis. The nurse told me she had no idea what happened and why. I was able to sit with Jonathan in the ICU after it happened and just sat, cried, and told him how much the kids and I loved him. When Jonathan's phone was returned to me, I turned it on, and there was a note written by Jonathan the day before he was intubated. The note said, quote, I love you guys with all my heart. and you've given me the best life I could have ever asked for. I am so lucky, it makes me so proud to be your husband and the father to Braden and Penny. Katie, you are the most wonderful, caring, nurturing person I have ever met. You are truly one of a kind. Make sure you live life with happiness and that same passion that made me fall in love with you. Seeing you be the best mom to the kids is the greatest thing I've ever experienced. Let Braden know he's my best bud, and I'm proud to be his father and for all the amazing things he's done and continues to do. Let Penelope know she's a princess and can have whatever she wants in life. I am so lucky. That was written by him before he was intubated, and he died. John was 32 years old.
Oh, wow. Hello,
Hello there. What is your name?
Melissa.
Melissa. Where are you in the world?
I'm in Virginia.
Okay. So we've been talking about our new normal. Do you want to tell us what your new normal is?
Well, I'm a teacher for special ed kids, so I teach from home, and I have two children, so I do fourth grade work, and then I have a 4-month-old. So that's my new normal.
So tell me this, what do you do with special needs kids in order to teach them virtually?
That's a very great question. It's very difficult because our students need like a lot of help. So it's a lot of like one-on-one time with their parents. So their parents are like actually helping us too, but like they sometimes are only there like maybe 5 or 10 minutes because they can't stay there the whole hour. But it's really difficult.
So, but that's a good point. So you try and get the parent to be the teacher on the spot.
Right.
You try and get their attention for 5 to 10 minutes. And even if you only get them for 10 minutes, that's a productive 10-minute period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's really hard to like have them work and all that stuff. So
yeah,
it's difficult, but that's what I do. So I do that all day, and then I do my son's stuff and then my daughter's stuff, and it's difficult, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
God love you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad we could get you on.
Oh, and a thank you with all that you do with the Puerto Rico, because my family is there. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have a good night.
Go Redskins!
And there's my dad. He says thank you too.
I can't wait to start watching some more football. Hello, Dad.
Yeah.
Nice to talk to you.
You too, and you stay safe, and thank you.
You too, love. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Boy, I would love to watch some NFL football right now. Oh, that would be a nice escape. That would be nice.
Hi, David.
Well, hello. What is your name?
My name is Yvonne. I'm in South Jersey.
Hello, Miss Yvonne. What is your new normal?
Well, my new normal is actually so unnormal for me because I'm used to always running around taking care of people. I have a terminally ill mother currently, and in November we found out she has stage 4 cancer. So I had been laid off in May and determined that I wasn't going to start looking for a job until January because I was going to devote some more time to her. My father-in-law has heart failure. I have a 6-year-old granddaughter that lives with us. And I have a husband that flies cargo airlines and currently is traveling all over the world, delivering and bringing back medical equipment. So basically I'm here with her, homeschooling her now. And unfortunately, I'm unable to see my mother because we have totally isolated her from everyone else. Fortunately, My brother lives with her right now, and he's able to take care of her as best as he can because he also has to work as a supervisor in a supermarket. So, little concerning because he's in and out every day, and she's so high risk, and her life expectancy is very low, and so the new normal is very unnormal for me because I am known not to stay at home always running around after everyone. And it's very hard at this point just to sit here and not be able to run to my father-in-law, run to my mother, run, run. I'm just like, I'm a homeschool teacher right now for my 6-year-old granddaughter, and my children all live in their own residences. But what I try to do is I do DoorDash food for them whenever possible. And that's how I feel like I'm being a little bit helpful to them because there's not much else that we can do. We are very quarantined, all of us, and we're sticking to it. And regardless of the kids, they're not allowed to come in and nobody's allowed to go out. So yeah, it's been very challenging for us, all of us, because we're a very close-knit family. And for me not to be able to reach out and take care of them, I'm the nurturer. I'm a super nurturer. And so this has been a big challenge for me to do this, just to sit here and not be able to move around. And, with my mother being my biggest fear is that she passes and nobody's able to be there with her except for my brother who, I don't know if he would be able to handle all of that. So that's the bulk of it. My husband's out 20 days a month. And when he came in he came home, I guess, a few weeks ago, and he self-quarantined. And when I mean self-quarantined, he was not allowed to come into the kitchen. I put a plastic in the area, just a whole big long plastic, and he was not allowed to come out of that area. And if he did, he had to announce it. And we would all go upstairs, my granddaughter and I, or we would be outside, and he would have to come into the common areas with a mask, gloves, and then we would disinfect everything after he left. And my granddaughter, again, she's only 6, and she was like, Grandma, I'm like, it has to be done. It's for all of our safety because Grandpa is, out flying, and he's in these level 4 countries because he had to go to China, Hong Kong, Japan, bring medical equipment back. So you just, and this is a cargo, so you just don't know, and we're not going to take any chances.
Well, you're a doer, and so you're not able to do, and it's driving you crazy. So I hear you loud and clear. And the only thing
sir.
The only thing we can do is listen to you.
And that's good enough, right? Because that's all I tell people. I'm like, please pick up the phone and call me. If you just want to talk, I don't care. If you just want me to not say anything, I have a girlfriend. We just found out she has terminal cancer as well. So it's just like, I'll just listen. If you just want to, breathe into the phone, I'll just listen to you, breathe into the phone, and then you say goodbye and we'll end the conversation. But, I just think that we just have to be there for each other as much as we can, help those that need help, and be a support system, because not everyone has that support system. Not everybody has people that they could talk to, that they could, reach out to. And, if you know of someone, that's all I always on Facebook. I'm like, just stop with the hatred and, bickering. Just try to help somebody sometimes. Just reach out your hand and pick up the phone. Do whatever you have to do just to be nice. And that little nice word can go a long way in somebody's day. So
amen. Listen, I think listening is a real gift that you can give. It requires more energy than you think. just to
Yeah,
listen to
it
someone.
does.
But it's really important. So I'm glad you could come on.
Thank you. And thank you for always being there as a voice for us in Puerto Rico, because we have tons of family in Puerto Rico. And guess what? Sometimes I'm the one informing them. I'm like, did you hear what David said? Because half of the time they don't. They haven't heard it. And I'm the one relaying it because I'm seeing it from you. So thank you for being everybody's voice on in the mainland and on the island.
You're welcome, love. Stay tuned.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too, ma'am. Bye-bye. Okay, so I think that is going to wrap us up because I think we have a couple more minutes. So that was a good sort of mix, right? We had some random folks on the back end. We had some of our pre-scheduled guests on the front end. So there you go. I'm going to actually end this, and I'm going to go exercise with plenty of social distance. But I need to work up a sweat and burn some calories and listen to my music. So have a wonderful night, and I will see you next time we do it. Good night.